clean and tell you this one comes from Ginger Baker, who's been doing this sort of stuff really well for years. So you start with this one, you lead with the left foot, and you just play a very simple shuffle on the feet like this, and you go.
Now with the drums to the fore, the guitar can take a slightly more background role. In that last piece I was doing a sort of textural sound. Now a good way of doing this is to use harmonics together to form a chord made up all of harmonics like this. Or here. You can change the pitch of the notes using the tremolo arm like this. And if you use the volume pedal, you can almost make the guitar sound a bit like a keyboard because you're losing the attack usually associated with the guitar. So it sounds like this. Now we're going to look at a new way of playing melodic lines, which combines rhythmic qualities as well. Now if you're playing a chord sequence, quite simple ones, for example, E minor to D. One idea would be just to pick out the notes contained in the chords, and that way you can make up a rhythmic and melodic part at the same time. You could try something like this, something very simple. I'm going to play an idea at the band now, and I'm going to add in some extra notes. I'm still going to use the chords of E minor and D, but I'm going to play some open strings, but I'm still basing it around the idea of just working around the chord shapes.
Moving on now from guitar to bass, the idea of bass playing lead has become very common in recent years, especially with players like Stanley Clarke, John Entwistle and Mick Karn. Now, what you may not realise is it's possible to play chords, harmony and melody all at the same time. Try this. Play an open string, but use the notes in a scale and flick off like this. Now there are 4 strings, so you can do that on every single one. Another idea you can try is to play 2 notes at the same time, or even 3. Now in the next piece of music, I'm going to incorporate some of those ideas. in that piece of music, the bass was taking the lead. Another thing you can try is to mix up musical styles. In that piece, we mixed up funk with country.
The history of rock music, in fact, is always a history of the mixing of different styles and different cultures. But rock being a very fast medium, sometimes that's done superficially. The only thing you can say about is that, well, if it leads to greater communication, greater understanding and so on, all the better. But as you've seen in earlier programmes, the really important developments in music, these are not superficial, they're very powerful because they've got very deep roots. So as we saw with the blues, this is a mix of African and European cultures going back centuries, reggae, a mixture of West Indian and American cultures. And it's no accident either that the most successful rock stars, from Elvis through the Beatles to David Bowie, they all show very original fusings of different cultures. Now, here's an early clip of the Police showing how, when they started off, they very cleverly mixed rock and reggae.
We're going to end now with a few ideas that we threw together. See if you can spot some of the influences on the different instruments.